Hi everybody, Jacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. 'Tis the season! Finally, it's October, my favorite time of the year, Halloween season, and we have our top 5 perfumes for October. The list, to end all lists. Well, for the spooky season at least. So here we go. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Push the notifications bell to get notified every time I post a new video. And you can also join me on Patreon, Super Jacob, all spelled together there as well, for extra perks. Thank you to all my patrons who have already pledged. So, you guys, there's exclusive content over on Patreon, so be sure to check that out. Okay, now listen, thumb up this video and subscribe. I got my John Carpenter Halloween t-shirt on. Michael Myers is my boy. You best believe the night he came home, honey. He came home several times that night. Okay, anyway, so all shade aside, let's begin. Listen, autumn. Look at this gorgeous backdrop that we have here today, this little autumny vibe. What is lurking in that water? What is going to come out of the water? Who left this little branch growing here? What's behind the tree? Whose names are carved on the tree? All of these questions, so many questions and so little time for answers. Orange is one of my favorite colors. We do have our little frisbee of shame here, little Hermes baby here to cool down in the October heat of the moment. The first perfume is also connected to Twin Peaks. Now, Twin Peaks is technically not a Halloween, but it does have monsters in it as well. So I want to say maybe Twin Peaks is also kind of cool for this season. Sycamore. Underneath the sycamore trees is the song that is so beautiful from the season 2 of Twin Peaks, TV show from the 90s. As we are in the Red Room, the Black Lodge, the Red Room of the Black Lodge, and Bob is lurking. Bob might be here somewhere. This is almost like Sleepy Hollow meets Twin Peaks vibes, I want to say. Now, Sycamore, it's not just a song, but then it's also a perfume. This is the Eau de Parfum. Now, I do prefer the Eau de Toilette, and of course I love the Extrait. But the Eau de Toilette has been discontinued in 2016 when they introduced, for the first time ever, Sycamore Eau de Parfum concentration. I did not like it at all. But throughout the years, they've been tweaking the formula, I feel, because the batch code 7701 that I purchased about a year ago smells different to the Eau de Parfum, smells different to the Eau de Parfum from 2016, 2017, 2018. They've kind of reined it back in. They're kind of bringing it back to smelling like the Eau de Toilette. Of course, they're charging you double. Divine, majestic. This smells of this, but add even more humidity, dampness, vetiver. So add a little bit more green, gray hues to this scenario, and you got yourself Sycamore. So as you can see, we're like Bob Ross here. We're painting our background with the fragrances. How can you paint with perfumes? Well, the smell, you can visualize it as a component of a painting as well. You just have to use your imagination. Perfumes are great for that. So I almost want to say that the Sycamore is actually all of this. It feels like this is vetiver. Vetiver growing underneath this tree, which is not a sycamore tree, but we could just say this is a sycamore tree. Let's just use our imagination. We got the sycamore tree and we got the vetiver right over there. And that's kind of the vibe that this gives us. There's also violets in here, which gives it a softness as well. So there's that vetiver patchouli aspect that is kind of deep, wet, soily, but then it has that lightness as well, the woodsy accord, the slight smoky accord, and that violety accord, which gives it kind of a slight floral warmth. Still, I wish they would bring back the original Eau de Toilette, but hey, you can't have it all. However, if you get the Extrait of Sycamore, you will also not feel the Eau de Toilette vibes because it's a much warmer perfume. It has way more violets in it, but it is definitely going to be sharper blended. It's warm, but there's a sharpness to it. The original Eau de Toilette is sharp as a knife. It's like Michael Myers' dagger. You know, look at that. Look at that knife. That Michael Myers. That's how Sycamore used to be. But alas, things change and brands cheapen out on us, don't they? Now, but anyway, we love our Sycamore for the Halloween season, and this is one of my loves of October. From October, I would usually start the day with Sycamore. Now, the second one is, well, because it is October after all, and it is also the Halloween season, and people do dress up, you know, there's masquerades and balls and trick-or-treating, and, you know, people go through a lot of different phases in time when it comes to October. A lot of parties and dressing up and cosplaying as well. And so a perfume that really suits that vibe for me is Moschino's This Is Not a Moschino Toy. It's almost like this is not a ghost. This is not a human dressed as a ghost. Or like when a human is dressed as a ghost, you could say this is not a ghost, but it is, you know. So there's that playfulness. And plus, you decapitate the bear if you want to use the perfume. Very October, okay? This has a particular type of cashmeran and ambroxan going on for it. It's a synthetic concoction from 2014/2015. The first perfume that was made underneath the guidance and the directorship of Jeremy Scott at Moschino. Jeremy has left Moschino, unfortunately, but we still love you, Jeremy, and the memory lingers on. This teddy bear, Moschino teddy bear perfume, which I believe has been discontinued since Jeremy left the building, unfortunately. But this is definitely, just bottle-wise, deserves to be in the Perfume Hall of Fame just for the design of the bottle alone. And the smell, nothing groundbreaking, but there's a warmth to it. There's a fuzzy feel to it, you know, like autumn vibes, very October vibes, very much let's have our spiced, you know, our pumpkin spice latte, and this is kind of how this one feels. This one smells and feels the way a pumpkin spice would taste. But a little bit on the spicier side. Spice. More spice, less sweet. That's the bear. It doesn't smell anything of teddy bears whatsoever, so don't think that you're going to get weird fluffy bear vibes smelling this perfume. No. But it's playful, it's joyous, great for the harvest season, great for October. I wear this one usually in the afternoons. This is not a toy. This is not a Moschino toy bear perfume. This is not a Moschino toy perfume. That's my number 2. And where is this bear in our landscape? Well, this is a sort of a forest in a way. So the bear might be living in this forest. You know what I mean? So he could just be like sitting there underneath the tree, underneath the sycamore tree, IYK. Or he might be living somewhere in that area and he kind of pops up out from time to time to the water to drink the water. And then, well, unfortunately, you see, he can't really drink the water because we don't know. Maybe, just maybe, this water here is poisoned. You see what we're doing there? We're building our landscape. Here we have Christian Dior's Poison in its first ever iteration, the Eau de Toilette from the mid-80s. I think this one is 1986, 1987, the batch code of this particular bottle. I've already told you in many other videos how you can date them to see from what year they are. Oh my God, this thing. Tuberose, dark, resinousy plums, and a dark indolic camphorous tuberose. A ton of spices, all blend in together to create this poisonous concoction. Eau de Toilette. I do prefer the Eau de Toilette to the Esprit de Parfum. I also have the Eau de Cologne from the 80s. I do have the Extrait as well from the 80s. I love all of them in their own special way. Cologne Light as well. But it's the Eau de Toilette that hits differently for me. It just, the OG EDT. The current one is really sad. But in lack, listen, better than not having anything from the Poison range, then just get the current one that they're making in Eau de Toilette. But if you can get your hands on an OG 80s, let me just, oh my God, no, this, Poison is this little creek, river. I don't know what this thing is. Is it a little lake? Is it a little river? Oh my gosh. The powdery aspect of this, the velvety, powdery, dark, plummy, tuberosy aspect of this. This is Halloween. This is October. This is it. That's the poisonous river. Poison is running through this river, and that bear is not going to drink this water because he knows. Oh my gosh. My mouth is watering how delicious this is. Francis Kurkdjian Dior at the moment. Can you please do something about this and bring back the original formulations? I know regulations probably won't allow all of these ingredients to even, be used nowadays. I don't know, maybe they would, but let me see. My outfit is a mess. But if you could, would ya? Now, I know it would cost them probably a lot because when Poison was first released, it was a ton of ingredients. They said it cost them so much to manufacture this. They invested so much money into launching this product. This was launched at a time where Dior was struggling with their beauty products and cosmetic range. They were not bestsellers at all. They were struggling, but Poison saved Dior and took them out of the trenches and made them world known yet again. Poison saved Dior. So for Dior now to be, shitting on it by kind of canceling the entire Bath and Body range and just like kind of reducing it to one single watered down version of itself is really a travesty, It's kind of sad. Like, show some respect for a perfume that actually saved you. And of course, the Poison River is not going to save you. It might kind of unalive you, but just smelling this river, could you imagine how amazing this landscape is? The Poison River, the smell of that river, intoxicating in the best of ways. And then if you manage to find a way to cross the river and jump on this little tiny island, you also get the magic of Sycamore and maybe the little teddy bear hiding over there. Now, another perfume, number 4, that I adore in October in particular, because of the depth it brings, the silence it brings, the meditation it brings. It is harvest season. So it's like kind of harvesting your thoughts, what you have done throughout the year. Where have you been? Where are you going? And also, since it is October and Halloween season, there's also death in the air, funeral vibes, cemeteries. For all we know, back in this misty river, when you kind of drive all the way there with a boat, there's a cemetery hiding behind all that fog and mist. And at that cemetery, actually, this entire cloud, this misty cloud, you see this mist that is kind of lifting like fog? That, my dear, is a perfume. It's a mythical perfume. It's almost a sacred experience to smell it, to catch a whiff of it as you're driving through this landscape. That mist and fog is incensey and mystical. It's Guerlain's Encens Mythique. You best believe it is. This is to die for. Now, this is the formulation before the current one. So this one still has listed on the ingredients in the back of the box of the package, ambergris. Literally amber, not some chemical compound for, no. Ambergris is listed on the box, pure. And ambergris you shall get. Now, if you buy the current formulation, it's gone. There's no more ambergris on the ingredients list. But this one still had it. And I can tell you, wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh boy. There's darkness here. There is sadness here, silence, this gray mist that's exactly kind of coming from over there. Here we have some red and orange lights and yellow lights, but don't be fooled for a second. That mist is gray. It's Encens Mythique by Guerlain, Eau de Parfum concentration. It has damask rose, a dusty rose, a ton of incense, and this indolic ambergris that as you spray it onto your skin, it's dead. It smells of stillness and time, like stop living. But as it warms up on the skin, it kind of feeds off of you like a parasite, and it warms up and it heats up and it wakes up. And as it wakes, it's almost like a zombie perfume. It is like a zombie perfume. And as it warms up, you get all the indoles of the ambergris. And let me tell you, those indoles are not for everyone. A zombie is kind of a living corpse, and it can smell quite intense if your chemistry doesn't work with ambergris, with natural ambergris, because ambergris comes from the interior of a whale, after all, and is harvested floating around in the ocean. And it is a poopy matter. But it's also called, the gold of the oceans, because it's very rare to find, and it's incredibly sweet in smell, but also indolic. And you got to dose it just right in perfumes, and extracting it is really difficult. And that's why it's also so expensive. Ambergris, to find it in its natural state, just randomly floating about, when also whales are, being hunted, there's less and less of them. It's really, really rare. So to find ambergris and then to utilize it to create a fragrance, it's a big deal without using synthetics, right? Synthetic ambergris. And so this one is a very, very ominous perfume. It is a perfume that dominates the room. It takes charge, it takes control, and it is omnipresent. So that's why also here in our landscape, you can see everything here, all of that mist that's surrounding everything, and it's about to kind of come towards us and cover us up. That's Encens Mythique. Like, there's no escaping it. Beautiful for late afternoons as the sun is setting, and really, really, really gorgeous on a night out, especially if you're going to a dusty old theater, opera, and you have those kind of Phantom of the Opera vibes. You can kind of smell the wooden stage where the performers are performing on, and you can smell the dusty decades of makeup on that stage, of utilizing the stage, the crackling of the wood. I mean, it's just such a vibe, such an experience. And this one is also a time traveler, really, because it kind of catapults you back in time, and you feel like you're 1700s, 1800s all over again. All over again, I say, because I'm a vampire who has lived several hundreds of years. So I would know, IYK. Encens Mythique, October, fully commit to it. And then you're gonna feel October if you're wearing Encens Mythique. Just be sure to get the one that still has ambergris in it. Listed in the ingredients. Now, number 5. It's all about the heat. It's a weird October. All of this landscape, all of these ingredients and these perfumes mixed together create almost like a dome covering this particular world we're living in. This October world. And because it creates that kind of dome and cap, what happens is everything kind of starts to heat up inside, twirl together, mesh and clash. And as it heats up, a new smell is born. It's kind of very interesting. It's a parfum, an extrait, and it's all about the temperature. It's about the heat. It's about Fahrenheit. We get a lot of Fahrenheit here. Look at that. The bottle is actually the colors of our background. That is the all-encompassing and covering up of this world we're living in October. It's Fahrenheit. All of the colorways from translucent to orange to red, all the way to brown and black. This is the Parfum concentration. One of the rare things that Demachy did well at Dior. Gorgeous. It's not the eau de toilette. It's not the cologne. It's not the 80s version. That kind of gasoline vibe is gone in here. Here we have more vanilla. Here we have warmth. Here we have woods. Here we have that heat transpiring as we're drifting and floating deep into autumn. And October, oh, this one is great for really cold nights. This one will warm you up in the cold nights. And it is a very, it's hard to describe the mood it takes you on. It's leathery, right? There's a leathery accord that opens up. It bites like an animal, and then that leather, you know, kind of dries down, and then the warmth keeps coming and coming and coming, almost like it's glowing from within. You know, there's like that amber, or the ember glow of the amber within the perfume. Oh, it's so beautiful. And it just warms up and guides you in this landscape. And it is kind of, it's the dome, it's the cap of this world. It's Fahrenheit Parfum. Now, I don't know if Dior, I do believe they still produce it. I don't know if they reformulated it. I bought this one right after it was released. So I do have the OG formula of the Parfum by Demachy. I don't know if they've kind of went through reformulations or not. So this is batch code 6U01. So it's quite a few years old. I love it. Really, really, really great bottle design, a great perfume. Strange that when you lift this up, the stopper, it's very heavy, it's metal, but like not the whole thing goes off like for the eau de toilette, but just the top part of this neck goes off for the Parfum. Bizarre, no? They could have done something, well, whatever. I'm fine with it. In fact, you can see how old this bottle is because it still has the old CD logo on the cap. It doesn't have the kind of melting C into the D, so no matter how you turn it, it always spells CD. This is the old school version of it where the C was separate from the D. So yeah, this was one of the last iterations of that kind of old school logo by Christian Dior, the CD logo, before they kind of meshed them together. And so 2 Diors made it into this list, and this landscape could not be more perfect now that we have all our elements meshed together. Fahrenheit, Sycamore, Ensemble Mythique, This Is Not a Toy, Moschino perfume, Poison. What more do you want? You know what I mean? Halloween can now officially come. We are ready for you. So ghouls and spirits, monsters and critters, lovers of the macabre, get ready. Brace yourselves. This is going to be a spooky, bumpy ride. Love you loads. Subscribe. And until next time, never give up on gore love. Bye.